Wanna say hi? Wanna say hi to the camera? It's been a while. It's been a while. Hi. Say hi. Okay, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another tarot related video. So today I decided to just talk about something pretty chill, nothing too controversial, maybe, hopefully. Anyway, basically I just want to tell you about some things that I don't actually do as a tarot reader, and you don't have to do them either, regardless whether you read tarot only for yourself or whether you read tarot professionally or just for fun for other people. I just basically wanted to touch on this topic and kind of like cut you some slack maybe if you thought you had to do all these things. Well, maybe I will bring some peace to your mind and you will realize that there are some things that you don't actually have to do. But okay, without further ado, make yourself comfortable, grab yourself something delicious to drink. I forgot my beverage, but you go grab yours and let's get into the video. I actually forgot to add, apologies if you can hear like birds singing or something like that, nature sounds. It's just becoming a little bit hot outside, which I'm extremely grateful for and happy about because yeah, I'm a summer baby, but that also means that there is less air in the apartment, so I had to open the balcony door, window, what is it called, I don't know, so I can actually breathe while I speak to you today. So just apologies beforehand if you can hear anything like that. Well, with that being said, we can now start talking about tarot. How about that? I just want to clarify real quick. The things I'm going to be telling you about are basically things that you can do as a tarot reader, but you don't have to. That's the whole point. Meaning, if you do any of these things, you can totally continue doing these things. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that I personally don't do them. So again, if you want, you can get inspired by this, or you can just continue doing your, your shenanigans, your tarot shenanigans, and maybe just have fun with the video. Just wanted to say that, okay, before we like jump in. Okay, so the very first thing that I don't do as a tarot reader is read reversals. So what are reversals? For those of you who are maybe new to tarot and just basically found yourself in this video, reversals are basically cards in a reading or in a spread that come out of the deck in reverse, so they are like upside down. I don't read these types of cards or like these reverse types of messages, and I'm going to briefly tell you about why I don't do that, and you will probably have a little laugh, or you will maybe just think I'm weirder than you thought I was. I must admit, okay, my cat just got zoomy, sorry. But okay, let me just begin with the very first reason why I don't do that. So, as I repeat on the channel over and over and over again, and a lot of tarot readers do actually, there is actually no such a thing as like positive and negative cards, because every single tarot card has like a full spectrum of meanings, right? That's the beauty, the intricacy, and the sometimes frustration of tarot, that the tarot is just simply incredibly broad, and that means that every single card can have like a light aspect, shadow aspect, and depending on the context or the spread or just your intuition sometimes, depending on that, you read the message of the card. However, some people used to read reversals, meaning they shuffle their cards and they pull cards, and when a card comes out of the deck in reverse, they read it as like the shadow aspect of the card or the negative aspect of the card, something like that, or the energy that's blocked. I don't do that because I kind of trust myself to know whether the card is speaking about some energy blockage or whether the card is underlying more the negative aspect or the positive aspect. Like, I don't necessarily need the reversal for it. That would be like the that would be the also like socially accepted reason not to read reversals, right? But I will not stop there, because I'm gonna tell you the other reason why I don't do that. And that's also because I am this like a really terrible perfectionist, as I also tend to repeat on the channel over and over again. I'm still working on it, okay, don't come at me, I'm still working on it. However, I just visually don't like it when the cards, when I do like a spread and some card is upside down, like it drives me crazy. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, tarot is a visual experience among other things, and when I see a card that's like upside down, I do the urge to just flip it, you know. And okay, you could argue, okay, like you can draw it in reverse and then flip it, but know that it was in reverse. Yeah, I guess so, but why would I do that, you know? And the third reason, and yeah, this might be a bit controversial maybe, but how do you people get reversals? I mean, you know, when I do a spread, I shuffle my deck, I do a spread, I read cards, and then I put them back in the deck to like shuffle again, etc., use it again. I always make sure to put the cards in the right order, like right side up, you know. And when I shuffle, like, there is no logical reason for them to come out in reverse. And if I have a jumper, because sure, sometimes you shuffle a little bit, you know, clumsily or whatnot, and there can be a jumper, like, yeah, a card can fly out the deck, and then you take it and put it back, and maybe you put it back in reverse, but then again, I check it before it flies out, and when I put it back, I make sure I put it right side up, yeah, right? So there is no really a reason for me to even like draw the reversals, you know. And I heard once, like, it was a it was a while back, but I heard someone, and I don't know who it was, I'm sorry, so I can't quote them properly, but I heard someone saying that if you read reversals, if you get reversals, really, it means that you can't really shuffle your deck. And I'm just, okay, I'm not saying that, okay, it just kind of made me laugh, because like, yeah, like, how do you get reversals? But again, if you do that, it's completely up to you. It's still a part of a tradition. It's really broad tradition to read reversals. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying I don't really do that, and like, you don't have to either. If you're new to tarot and you are struggling with like learning, you know, the 78 cards, and maybe you feel overwhelmed because you're like, oh, they're also reversals. They're actually not, they're just part of the meaning spectrum of each and every card anyways. Like, you still have to know all the aspects of the cards, and even though it can be helpful, because sure, it can indicate you like, okay, this is the shadowy part, you can still get that type of result in different ways. For example, designing a spread where you specifically put like one spread, one card position, that's going to specifically speak about the shadow, and the card that you pull for that position is going to speak to you about the shadow. It doesn't even really have to be in reverse. So there is that. Yeah. I hope you don't hate me now, and I hope you're still with me. So that would be the very first thing I don't really do as a tarot reader, and you don't have to either. Proceeding, and this is going to be just one that I have to mention in this video. I'm sorry, I'm going to make this one quick. But the second thing I don't do as a tarot reader is a future prediction or fortune telling. And I know you must probably be like, girl, you just go on and on and on about it, and I know, but it's simply my style. I read tarot psycho-spiritually, so future predictions is something that not my cup of tea, not really my thing. Again, it's a broad tradition, nothing wrong if you do that. I have my opinions about it, and I have my reasons why I don't do that. I will not repeat myself here. I'm going to leave the video where I go deeper in this topic down below in the, description box. It's been a while since I filmed the video. And you can go ahead and check it. But yeah, I just still wanted to mention it because I feel like tarot readers who actually dare to step away from fortune telling, they're sometimes a little bit like judged or discriminated or something, and I just want to speak on it, you know. I want to shout to the world that yeah, I'm the weirdo who does not do predictions. I'm sorry, not sorry, I guess. So yeah. The third thing I don't do as a tarot reader, and you don't have to either, is let other people touch my decks. And this is again a little bit controversial one, which is funny. I said in the beginning of the video I'm not going to be getting into controversial topics. Well, it is what it is. But yeah, I really don't like letting people touch my decks, and that also has to do with me not really being okay with people touching my anything that I like own or use, etc. It gives me the ick. I can't help myself. It gives me the ick. And the same applies for my tarot decks. Now you might think, well, but what if you read tarot for others? So As you might know, I recently started reading tarot online for people. That obviously isn't an issue because when you purchase an online reading, you obviously will not touch my cards anyway. And I still can give you like a really cool and profound reading because I have done that in the past. It works perfectly. I don't really need you touching my decks. And now you might wonder, well, but what if you read tarot for someone in person? Which is something I do a little bit less. I do that only like for 4 friends or something. Ever so often, very rarely, but even if I do that, I do not let the person touch my deck. I don't. I let the person sit in front of me, I shuffle the deck, I focus on their question, I focus on channeling their energy. Is something I do like mentally, or I don't know how to explain that part properly. I will give it a think. But I do not let the person touch my cards because well, as I told you, I just feel a little bit like, yeah, it gives me the ick. And also, I have this strong belief that when you touch something, especially a spiritual tool, you kind of transfer a bit of your energy into it. Even if it's not intentional, like you do not intentionally place your hand on a deck and like transfer your energy into it. Even if you just touch it, just randomly, it's like a little bit of you kind of like gets in there. In my opinion, just my way of seeing things. Again, that's not like a universal law, okay? You can think something completely different and operate in a completely different level. But this is how I personally feel, and then I feel this strong urge to like cleanse the tool, and it's just so much, you know, work and yeah, no. And I always kind of admired readers who let people like shuffle the deck or like choose the cards themselves. I know that's a thing, and that's probably beautiful and it must be a completely different experience, but I'm just not comfortable with it. So I don't do that. And once again, I just want to say that in my experience, it doesn't really change the outcome. Like I can still again provide a reading without the person touching the deck. So I just don't think I have to do it if I'm not comfortable with it. And again, you don't have to either. If you're like me and it gives you the ick, just don't do it. And don't let people tell you like, now you have to let other people choose the cards for themselves. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Every reader is completely different. All of us have like different little things we do and don't do, etc. And you just need to respect the reader basically, and it's gonna be fine, okay? And also, if you're reading cards for yourself, it's yeah, no, it doesn't apply here. You do have to touch your deck, but it's your deck. But you know what I mean. I got entangled here. So basically, you don't have to let other people touch your deck if you don't want to. Alright, the 4th thing I don't do as a tarot reader, and you don't have to either, is keeping the deck in a special kind of a cloth. So when I first got into tarot, I first started reading about tarot, studying tarot, and like getting immersed into the tarot world. I have read in so many sources that, sorry about it, that when you get a tarot deck, you should like take it out of its box and basically keep it in a special, preferably black or dark cloth, like to protect its energy and whatnot. Okay, again, it's completely up to you if that's your belief and it works for you and you like your decks being wrapped in those fancy cloths. Perfect, please continue doing so. I think it's beautiful. I don't really have anything against this tradition, or what is it? But for me personally, it's a bit not practical because I like to keep my decks in the boxes that they come in, if they come in a box, obviously. With some decks, I did actually rehouse them into like pouches. But that wasn't really because of me wanting to protect their energy or anything, so just looking at my decks. It was basically out of practical reasons, again, because for example, my Thoth deck, right? Like if you have the Thoth tarot and like the big box, you know, the green box, it's a tag box. And it's of terrible quality. Like I've been using the cards with the box for a couple of months and it looks so weary right now. It's kind of ridiculous. And I really did not want to be continuously damaging it without even wanting to damage it. So I rehoused the deck into a cloth and now I keep it in a cloth. But it was because of that reason, right? And also the other decks, I think I have like 2 or 3 more decks There's Greenie and there is Quintessential Thought. Quintessential Thought actually came in a pouch already, so there was no box. So basically, you do not really have to be figuring out a different storing situation for your deck. If you buy, especially if you buy a deck that actually comes in a sturdy box, it first of all, it protects the cards better, and second of all, it's just more practical. You know, like you can, yeah, your cards are more protected. So, but I have heard about this tradition and I do think it's lovely. But again, you don't really have to. You just do you. You do whatever feels right for you. The fifth thing I don't do as a tarot reader, and you don't have to either, is light a candle or have a special type of a ritual before reading the cards or before, you know, getting into shuffling your deck, etc. Again, I think it's very lovely, and I have met readers who do that, who will just not read cards without having a candle burning next to it, and I think it does really create this type of environment that's really chill and really esoteric and whatnot. However, I am a person who uses the tarot cards a lot, like a lot. Okay. I bring my decks everywhere with me. I try to, you know, I just love having a deck on me basically everywhere I go, in case I just want to pull a card to feel better and whatnot. Because yeah, I love tarot in that regard. It's not always about serious messages. Sometimes it's simply about the comfort that it brings you. And again, it's not really practical for me to have a candle burning or doing like an elaborate ritual with it every single time. Like I can't really do that, you know. Sometimes, for example, this has been happening a lot lately, like when I wake up from a pretty intense dream, sometimes I just wake up, I literally just open my eyes and I grab a deck, because I have them like really next to where I sleep. I just grab a deck and immediately just start shuffling and pull some cards to just see what the hell, basically. What was this dream even about? Like, what was the message? So if I had to do like a whole ass ritual before that, I would forget about the dream. I would get out of that kind of like light trance state that I was in. Not really light trance, but what is it? When you wake up recently and you're still in this, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how those states are called right now. You know what I mean, when you're not fully awake. So I would get out of it, and the thing for me is to just do it quickly, right, while I'm still in that kind of like state. Is it alpha state? No. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I will not try to just shoot these, you know, words. So anyway, this is like one example for why I don't really have like an elaborate ritual, or not even elaborate. I don't have like something that accompanies the cards, you know, the card reading process for me. For me, just cards. I just need the cards and my hands to shuffle them and read. That's basically, that's it. I don't need anything else. But again, I know that there are people who do stuff like that. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this one specifically, because at some moments I got some oracle decks, and I, you know, like when you get an oracle deck and you have a guidebook with it, or sometimes I give it a read. I know it sounds kind of weird, like sometimes I give it a read. But yeah, I don't really like reading oracle deck guidebooks. However, sometimes I do read them, okay? I'm not that mean. So, and there was this one particular oracle deck that came with the guidebook, and the guidebook was kind of like talking about how to use the cards, and there was this literally a whole as ritual, like an entire ritual to do before you read those cards, or to use the cards. And I was like reading that thinking, if I had to do all of this just to pull one oracle card, I would never use the deck, because that's just not realistic now, is it? Like, yeah, I must admit, there are some moments where I do want to do something fancy and just read my cards with like the incense burning, the candle burning and whatnot, but it's not the requirement for me, you know? So if you feel like that's too much and you are maybe reluctant to read your cards, you just can totally skip all that jazz and just go and read your cards. Just have fun with your cards. Just read your cards. And the sixth and the final thing that I wanted to mention in this video, I probably forgot some things as usual, but the sixth thing I wanted to talk about, the thing I don't do as a tarot reader, is taking the messages that come from tarot way too seriously. Now hear me out, I might have worded it a little bit weirdly, so I'm just gonna try to quickly explain myself. So basically, I don't really like to approach the tarot messages as in they are set in stone. As in, you know, I got this message and it is what it is, and that's the final word. Like, I think that's a little bit toxic. Why? Because the tarot is a tool that can help reveal some things to you. It can help you understand certain things. It can help you realize some things, etc. However, you should still, and I'm saying you should now, yeah, this is where I'm getting you a little unsolicited advice, you should take these messages with like a pinch of salt, because there is always a room for misinterpretation a little bit. Because you see, it can happen sometimes that we can get something wrong, because we are humans, and since tarot is so nuanced, it's so, you know, it's still a spiritual tool, and it's not an exact science, if you will. So you always have to leave a room for a little bit of questioning in there, or just be open to see what happens next, like how things evolve maybe, and then go back to your reading, stuff like that. Just do not take it like it's set in stone, you know. And also, it has happened to me, and I'm sure that if you read cards for yourself, it probably has happened to you as well at some point, that you had a reading and you thought you understood it perfectly, and then a couple of days later maybe something happened on you, or you realized some other things, or maybe some, you know, some things like clicked into each other, and you looked at your reading and you went, oh, okay, so this was actually speaking about something a little bit different than I initially thought. And you have to have the capacity to kind of recognize that, acknowledge that, and like work around it. Instead of just fixating yourself on the message. Like, I'm going to give you this terrible example of like pulling Three of Swords, because that's the card that no one wants to see. And oh, by the way, I just now remembered I still haven't filmed the video on how to deal with negative tarot cards. Yeah, that's coming. Anyway, so let's say you pull the Three of Swords and you're gonna be like, oh no, like this is the breakup card, the sorrow card, like the heartbreak and some sort of really terrible pain, you know, and heartache and all the words related, right? And it doesn't really have to be, you know, it can speak about completely different things. Obviously, I'm not saying that the card will change its entire meaning spectrum. However, it might not maybe be about your relationship at all. It's what I'm saying, you know. So, like, you really have to be open to nuance and to basically new interpretations also, etc., etc. Like, tarot, as I said, it's such a beautiful, intricate, complicated, and sometimes frustrating tool, isn't it? But that's why we love it. That's why I love it anyway. With that being said, I think this would be all the points I wanted to give you in this video. Please let me know down in the comment section whether you agree with me in any of these points, whether you also like don't do these things, or whether there's something that you really do. And if you're really upset with me right now, I'm sorry. I promise I did not want to like attack anybody, okay? I just wanted to chat about tarot, and I just thought that it might help maybe someone who's like new to tarot, okay? So if you do these things, still let me know. Let's have a conversation. I'm always open to that. And yeah, by the way, I would almost forget. I am now also offering personalized tarot readings. So I'm going to leave my Ko-fi page with all the information down below, and also the video where I'm explaining a little bit more about this service that I'm now offering. So you can go ahead and check it out. And yeah, if you want to stay with me a little longer, I invite you to watch other videos available on my channel. Also, if you would like to support me in what I do in my spiritual shenanigans, you can also check the Ko-fi page where are the tarot readings. There's also an option to buy me a coffee, I believe. It's so cute. I find it super cute. So just saying, you can check that out. And if not, I'm just still hoping to see you here again. Yeah, stay kind, and I'm going to be seeing you in the next video. Bye bye!